So I'd learned that my estranged grandmother, whom my mother had cut off all contact with, was the daughter of seemingly one of the great occult experts of the time, who credited all of his knowledge to his own forefathers. It added a frighteningly dark shade to the forthcoming paranormal activity that would follow. But learning more about him painted a picture of some kind of specialist, a paranormal investigator, maybe an exorcist, someone who dealt in hauntings and possessions and possibly even far more.
Haven't posted a video in a couple days. Just been taking care of a lot of legal paperwork and stuff for the house and the car. Somebody pointed out some things in some of my previous videos, weird stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and show you. In this first one, if you look, this is when we first came into the house. If you look in the mirror, I passed this mirror. I'm going to put it in slow motion. You can see somebody standing in it, so I'll let you be the judge of that. Okay, yeah, I don't know if you heard, while I was recording that last little bit, the door over here did actually, slam closed on its own, but we'll just call that wind, just a coincidence. Okay, in this next video, this is when we first went out in the yard, and my daughter, Melissa, was, looking at something in the grass. I thought it was just the tall grass, but if you look, it seems like there's some kind of little weird creature there. Yeah, so I really don't know what to think. If you're anybody who considers yourself an expert in this kind of thing, you want to give me some advice, go for it, because I'm kind of at a loss. I'll keep you guys updated. Find any more creepy stuff or anything else about my great-grandfather. Still a ton of shit to look through. Peace. Hey everybody, been a little bit lazy lately after I spent a couple days and didn't find anything. Just been, raising a toddler and teenager by myself. The teenager actually helps a ton. Sally, you're amazing. Okay, so I was in the grocery store today, and, this guy, when I'm checking out in line, says something like, "Hello, sir. Are you new in town?" I know what you're thinking, but it really didn't come out threatening or deliverancy at all, so I was just like, yeah, I just inherited a house from my grandmother. This dude just looks right at me and goes, "Oh, you mean Ellie Oldrey?" Now, I'm kind of, freaking out for a sec, but then I just kind of think, oh, well, small town, everybody kind of knows each other, I guess. They probably know that she just died. So I'm just like, "Oh, yeah. And then this guy goes, "How much do you know about her father?" "I guess your great-grandfather." Man, you guys, if you've been following this at all, you know that I am very interested in that subject. And you guys, this dude literally proceeds to tell me that my great-grandfather, Leopold Oldrey, was like a local historical figure, hero type person, that he helped build every church built pre-1960 within 100 miles, that they would call him to churches all over the state, to consult and help with certain, problems that they were having, and I'm just like, holy shit. So I come back home, and I am looking through this old journal. I remember, you guys, I told you it was, mostly cocktail recipes. Well, I am, 75% sure now that shit is just a cover. And now, looking through this journal, I've folded to show where it is. There are notes on some of these pages, and I've cross-referenced these. There's names that look like names of churches, and they all match a church relatively in the area that would have been active in the 1940s, 50s time frame. You see there's a date on all of them, and then there's weird letters written. This was the only one where I got anything more than just the weird letters, so I don't exactly know what it means. It's Lord's Grace, September 14th, EBLKS, Rosary, Ashes. So I guess I'm just going to try to figure out what those letters might mean. I'll post up some more on those later, I guess, if I find more in the book. I'm just kind of weirded out, all of this stuff mixed with the stuff about Haxan, about how he claimed that he was basically the source of all the information, and it kind of sounded like he was insinuating that the information was true, or at least he believed it was. So putting that all together, the math points to some kind of not necessarily good thing. So I don't know, especially with all the creepy stuff that happens here at night, which I'll go more into in another video soon. I'm just going to keep looking, and I will let you guys know if I find anything more. Okay, I figured this would be a good time to do kind of a recap video, and I'm up late with nothing else to do. So, if you haven't been following along, I inherited a house from my estranged grandmother. This is the house. It's me and my daughters. It's got a lot of creepy stuff in it. I found my great-grandfather's journal and some old pages from some letters he wrote to my great-grandmother. It seemed that this guy, Benjamin Christensen, screwed him over in the 1920s. He was the producer, writer, director of the old movie Haxan, this super dark, like satanic witchcraft movie from 1922. According to my great-grandfather's journal and letters, he was actually the primary writer and source of information for all of the occult stuff in the movie. He got it passed down to him from his own grandfather, with a collection of things like books and things like that. Now, that was all the information that I was able to really find so far here in the house. There's a lot of old stuff here. I'm still digging through and finding new places where stuff is stashed. But when I was out speaking with people in the small community, someone was telling me about, apparently, my great-grandfather, Leopold Oldrey, was known in the area, and that back in the 40s and 50s, he used to help out a lot of the churches in a very wide range, basically throughout the whole state. And, they said helped him out with, special problems. And, from what I'm reading about him knowing about all this stuff with the movie Haxan, about Satanism and witchcraft and demons and the devil, and then they're saying that he was helping churches. It's pretty weird. I don't think I'm crazy for thinking that. So that's where we're at. There's also been some pretty weird stuff happening in the house. I'll make another video about that. Okay, it's been a busy few days for me, so I'm just going to get to it so I don't have to make a part 2. I have been to just about every library in the area. I've been searching things online. I've been looking at records, archives. I have found a few things that I think might keep this mystery going. I'm really fully enveloped in this now. I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of those now. This is the earliest article I could find referencing my great-grandfather. It just talks about how he helped some other towns, the mayor's kid. It sounds almost like he was possessed or something, and that my great-grandfather, after the doctors couldn't help him and the church couldn't help him, that he helped, or he provided something that helped. This next article is basically my great-grandfather's obituary. I'll just let you take a look at it. You see both of these articles reference a group called the Psalms. I did a little bit more digging into that once I found those, so I had to go back around after finding stuff about my great-grandfather with this new lead to find if I could see anything about this group, and I did find a couple of things, so let me show you. Both articles are about some kind of festival they used to put on. It looks like it went on from the early 1920s through the 50s at some point. So apparently Psalms stands for Servants on a Mission, and it almost sounds like some kind of weird cult, or I don't know, just kind of Christian action group. I don't know what you want to call that. It seems they were active in the area until at least the 1950s, but I know from the stuff I found out about my great-grandfather that he was active doing the same kind of stuff well after that. Maybe he was the guy who kind of stayed behind, I don't know. I'm going to keep looking. If I find anything, if any of you know anything about this Psalms, Servants on a Mission, let me know. I'm really trying to figure this out here. It's kind of weird.
At the same time that all this weirdness was going on surrounding my great-grandfather, I found my 3-year-old daughter playing with this strange doll that she obviously found somewhere in the house. I didn't remember ever seeing it before, even as a child, but quickly realized that it must be the frogette my grandmother mentioned in her letter. I was not over-eager to see my daughter playing with it, as it was very creepy in its own right, and the way that it appeared unnerved me. I had other things to worry about, but she would make herself known.
So, a quick update. That terrifying frog doll that my daughter just had yesterday is gone now. It has vanished as mysteriously as it appeared. So, hooray! Nothing to worry about, right? Relief. Hey, I haven't posted in a little while. Forgive my mess. You know, we're just moving in. But I showed you guys that weird frog doll that my 3-year-old just found. It disappeared, and this is the first time I'm seeing it again. I realized it was what was down here on this chair, and I grabbed my phone to come and look at it. Definitely was not here before. My older daughter's at school. My 3-year-old is in the room. She was just with me. Shit. Holy shit. Just sitting here. Wonder what it's looking at. What's out here? Oh shit. Fucking frogs. A whole bunch of fucking frogs. I don't know if you can see them. Holy shit. There's like... Oh my god. That's weird. The pool is disgusting, I know. That's fucking weird as shit. So I haven't really updated on my investigation into my great-grandfather. Just because it's been a lot of days of calling different churches around the state and being told that they don't know anything, because a lot of this stuff seems to have been from between the 50s to the 70s. Obviously, not a lot of people still working in these places were around back then. The ones that were even, the churches that were even around then. I did get this one really strange interaction on one of the churches. It's called St. Michael's. I'll just post the full call. I was recording all of them. It was even worth showing. Okay, calling St. Michael's. It's about 84 miles away. But it's in his notebook. Father William.
St. Michael's, how can I help you?
Yeah, hey, I was told this was a good time to try and reach Father William. Is he available?
Of course, I'll transfer you now.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Father William.
Hi, my name is Alex. I was calling. I'm actually putting together an article about the churches in the area during the 60s and 70s. I know that you worked a lot with Father Edwards, your predecessor, who was very active during that time. Do you think I could ask you a couple questions? Maybe things he told you about, just to help me out.
Oh, sure, that should be fine. Do you want to set up a meeting or something?
Well, I could just do it right now if you have the time. Would that be okay?
Yeah, all right. Go ahead.
Okay, well, did Father Edwards ever talk about exorcisms or like the prevalence of exorcisms and things like that during that period?
No, we never talked about anything like that.
Okay, what about, did he ever mention the name or anybody named Leopold Oldrey? You ever heard that name, or did he talk about that person?
I'm sorry, I don't think this is a good idea. Have a nice day.
Well, hold on, wait a sec. Okay. No, I'm right that's weird, right? That was a weird reaction. That was not just like, oh, I don't want to talk about this. There was something up there. So, like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to try to find some other way to chase some of this stuff up. I'll keep updating. Okay, so, kind of materially small, but a potentially big update. I went to a local history museum, didn't know it existed. A really small place. Spoke with some of the people there. None of them wanted to appear on camera, so I'll just show you some of the video that I took right after speaking with them. Basically, they knew about my great-grandfather, they knew my grandmother, and I'll go ahead and cut to that for now. Okay, so this lady wouldn't appear on camera. This is a display case, but she told me that my great-grandfather apparently worked with the indigenous people around here a lot, and she gave me the name and number of a friend of my grandmother who's still alive. So that's two pretty big developments. I already knew that my great-grandfather was helping the church with like exorcisms and hauntings and weird shit like that. Now it seems that he was also working with the indigenous people with some issues, either helping them or they were helping him, I don't know. And now I've got someone to contact who was a very close friend of my grandmother who might know more. So I've got a lot to look into. I'll get back to you guys in a day or
Around this time, a viewer pointed out what looked like a fairy corpse in an earlier video, so I went to investigate.
Okay, going into the shed to see if there's anything still out here. Okay, so this is where I saw it. And okay, just not still some wings. They just look like butterfly wings. This is where it was. Okay, so I am on my way to try and get some of that information I talked to you guys about yesterday. I'm going to be hitting up all the old libraries and archives and things. Now, I also have spoken on the phone with my grandmother's friend. Her name is Cindy. I'm going to go to her house tomorrow to sit down and meet with her, so I will be interviewing her in person. She told me that she was a friend of my grandmother's for many years. Didn't have a personal relationship with my great grandfather, but he was, just a friend of father of her friend. So she did know him, and she'd spoken to him many years ago, obviously. But hopefully, we'll find some cool stuff.
For me, it was here that the true depth of things started to become clear. The first semblance of an answer to what this secret legacy I was digging into really was. Being honest, it was not nearly as exciting a revelation as it may seem to those watching from afar. Forgive the choppy audio, I had no version without background music.
Okay, guys. I definitely found some stuff today. Starting to get a little bit freakier than I was anticipating. Starting to kind of have a little bit of doubt on whether or not I should keep pushing this. I just went to those same kind of libraries and was looking through old newspapers and stuff, searching for anything that had to do with the indigenous populations and anything that seemed creepy. And I found some stuff. I'll show you now. Okay, first it is two articles around the same time, two different newspapers about a witch that was apparently living out in the forests pretty close by to where I live. And I'm just going to present both of them. The first one actually has a picture. The second one has like an artist's rendition, but you'll see when you look at it. Now, you probably noticed in the second article when they talked about the group coming together and taking care of the witch, the person that they spoke to in the article said to call him Leo. Now, my great grandfather's name was Leopold. I will find out tomorrow from Cindy if he ever went by Leo. This next article is about it. They say Wolfman, but it sounds like a freaking skinwalker. And they mention the SMs. So let's take. So I'm thinking that local SMs was some kind of mistake for Psalms, or maybe that's just another way people wrote it then. But it seems very likely this forest here from the Wolfman thing is literally right outside my town. This is the forest that surrounds us. So like I said, this is some shit now, and
Looking back now, I could almost honestly say this wasn't even the beginning. What I would come to find out about things that I'd already seen, as well as more details that remained to be uncovered, and even more unbelievably incredible discoveries to be made on the property. To find out more information about the astonishing secrets within this album, stay tuned to my social medias.